Hi there, coming back with another video here. This will be my Hunter S. Thompson collection, as you can see there. Just a quick little video showing you my collection of Hunter S. Thompson books. I've been wanting to do this for a while. Hunter S. Thompson to me is a great writer, an awesome human being, a unique character, and I think he's like misunderstood a lot of the time. I think a lot of people just consider him this drug-addled crazy man when really he was that. Let's get that straight. He was crazy and crazy on drugs all the time and stuff like that, but he was also a very brilliant idealist. He had very interesting ways of thinking, looking at life. I take a lot of inspiration from his, like, just the way that you look at things. I think I learned a lot from reading all these books, these Hunter S. Thompson books, and just kind of looking at the world through my eyes and what I take from it, and not being or trying not to be constrained by sort of society norms that people impose on you that don't really mean anything to you. Search your inner weirdness and grasp onto that, because your true self will be revealed from it. And now it's a little heavy, but whatever. That's what I got from a lot of these books. And I think there's a couple different schools of Hunter S. Thompson fans. There's the fans who like read everything ravenously, take the time to learn who all these historical figures are, that you will need to know who these people are to kind of get the most out of these books. Not 100% necessary, but you'll definitely be like, who the fuck is he talking about a lot of the time if you didn't. And there's those people who just love all of his writings, and then there's the other people who kind of grasp onto who, like, that image of this this like drug figure, this in the drug culture, and like they like the movie, and they don't really get into the actual reading of Hunter S. Thompson books, which is kind of the point. He was a writer, so I don't know. I'm not saying that, casual fans, I'm not looking down on them or anything, but I'm just saying that there's a lot more to the man than just kind of what you see in the movies and Where the Buffalo Roam with Bill Murray, Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, The Rum Diary. But all that being said, I'm just going to go through all of my books real quickly here. Try not to spend too much time in this video and just kind of show you what I have. So let's just jump right into it. Start off, I got the Rum Diary here. This is the movie release edition. When the movie came out with Johnny Depp, they released this version. I'd like to get the normal version. My buddy has it. I've been trying to pry it out of his cold dead hands for the last little while. But yeah, this is the Rum Diary. It's a novel, which is rare for Hunter. Mostly what he does are like journalism and articles and stuff like that, like compilations and stuff. But this is an actual novel that he had trunked, and Johnny Depp actually read it. I think it was when he was living there. I'm not sure exactly, but he like kind of convinced him to get it published, and he did. And I'm happy he did, because this is a great little novel. But this journalist who goes to the Caribbean in San Juan, Puerto Rico in the late 50s, and just sort of the things he gets up to, the wildness, the drinking. He meets this girl. It's a really great story overall. I enjoy it. I like the book quite a bit. I think it works really well. The movie's great as well. So yeah, that's the Rum Diary, a really good novel. This actually was quite hard to find. Screwjack. It's a very small little hardcover edition here, and it's got 3 short stories in it. Mescalito is the first one. Death of a Poet is the second one, which is fantastic. Probably my favorite out of all 3. And Screwjack, which is like this weird, twisted love letter to his cat, as you can see there. So yeah, this is really cool. Got some cool artwork on it. And yeah, 3 short stories. That one was actually hard to get, and when I finally found it, it cost me like 35 bucks. 35 bucks for this little thing, but I'm a sucker, so they took my money. Anyways, Hell's Angels, Hunter S. Thompson book. This is the first book I actually read by Hunter S. Thompson, which you would probably think, why didn't you read Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas first? But I just could never get my hands on that book, and I got my hands on this well before, and I enjoyed it. It's a very It's like a journalistic sort of approach to a novel, and it's just about Hunter S. Thompson following these group of Hell's Angels through different situations, different groups of them, and just kind of what he takes from what they meant to the culture at that time, their how they were representing themselves, how they actually were, and how they were understood by the general society. So it's a really interesting book. At the end, he gets beat down by a couple of Hell's Angels, and they just fuck him up real bad. And yeah, it's a very interesting book. I would highly recommend this one. It's a good read. And yeah, great novel. And like I said, it's more like a articles sort of compiled. That's what a lot of his work is like. And here's the classic Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. The movie is great, do not get me wrong. I love the movie so much, but the book is a little better, but the movie does capture the book pretty well. Like, there's not really a whole lot that they miss, and but the book is just fantastic. It's a nice, easy, fast read. It's got some great artwork, as you can see there, and just like hideous music and the sound of many shotguns, rude vibes on a Saturday afternoon and evening in Vegas. It's just very awesome. There's some awesome Stedman artwork there. And it's just a great novel about these Hunter S. Thompson's Raoul Duke character and his Dr. Gonzo, his lawyer, going to Vegas in search for the American dream and what that means. And if you're going to look for the American dream, what better place than Las Vegas, right? So I'm really happy to actually finally have this edition, and not like a movie tie-in edition, like the actual Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. This is a great piece of literature. Easily his best writing work, but to me, he's got so many good writings, but that one is the one that he will definitely be remembered by. Anyways, Fear and Loathing on the Campaign Trail, 72. This is, again, more like a compiled article sort of deal, where he was following the George McGovern, Richard Nixon, campaign, and it's just about sort of events that happen, his leanings, his predictions, rants on Nixon. There's some really great rants on Nixon in this book. And it's just a really good book overall. It's a lot harder to read than Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. There's going to be a lot of, you don't have to, like I said early in the video, you don't have to learn who all these people are, but it definitely makes the book a better read, because then you're kind of like, okay, I know who he's talking about, you know. And yeah, great book. I was very happy to. This I got at the same time as Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, and I was able to read it, and I was happy because I was really wanting to get my hands on that. Moving along, this book here and this book here are a series of books. They're called the Fear and Loathing Letters, Volume 1 and 2. There's also Volume 3 called the Mutineer Rantings and Missives from the Mountaintop, I believe it's called. I tried to pre-order it and it just didn't work out. I guess they ran out of copies, I'm not sure. I was kind of annoyed, but whatever, I'll have to get it one day. But here's The Proud Highway, Saga of a Desperate Southern Gentleman. And this is Fear and Loathing in America, The Brutal Odyssey of an Outlaw Journalist. And these are just correspondence, pretty much, between people in his life. This one has to do primarily from his early years, going in the Air Force, talking with friends, women in his life, his mother, his brother, and people that he starts working with over time, letters that he writes on his crazy journeys across the world, in jungles, and it's just a great novel. I really enjoyed this one. This one's very long, took me quite a while to get through it all, but I did, and I loved it. There's so many great, witty, early on you could tell he really had a good command of how to write. He had a great voice, and he's very funny. And then this one gets more involved with his actual like articles and writing, and some of the troubles he had with journalism and people inside of it getting work. And it's really great. I highly recommend, if you want to kind of understand who Hunter S. Thompson was more as a person, and not just like this this cartoonish figure that some people like to portray him as. You will find out a lot more of actually who he is in these books, I believe. But yeah, and another saga of books here. We got The Great Shark Hunt, we got Generation of Swine, and we got Songs of the Doomed. This one's called The Great Shark Hunt, and these are Gonzo papers, 3 volumes, and they're pretty much articles that he has written over time. Some of it is original things. And this one here has to do with like his early work through the 70s and whatnot. This one focuses primarily on the 80s, and this one is 90s and on, and it actually goes through a lot of different periods through his whole life. This one here. So as you, this book I love. I love this. I love the songs of the Doomed. I really enjoy it, and it covers starting in the 50s and onward. This one covers a lot of like his legal troubles that he had. But this is The Great Shark Hunt, Strange Tales from a Strange Time. A lot of good articles in here. Some of his best work in The Great Shark Hunt, in my opinion. Great stuff. A lot of Rolling Stone articles and all types of stuff. You'll find some snippets from, I believe it's in this one, Fear and Loathing. Snippets from all types of work. The Kentucky Derby is Decadent and Depraved, I believe, is in here. It's either in one of these here. I'm pretty sure it's in either one of these. But yeah, that's the first one there. This one is Generation of Swine, Gonzo Papers Volume 2, Tales of Shame and Degradation in the 80s. This one's great. There's lots of funny stories, and there's some really good ones. I really wish I could go. There's this one where he like fights a mountain lion in his car. That's so great. But I love this one here. This one, out of this series, this was the first one I got my hands on. I read it ravenously. I powered through it so quick, and I loved it. I've read it 3 times. This one I've read the most out of all 3 of them, and that is Songs of the Doomed, More Notes on the Death of the American Dream, Gonzo Papers Volume 3. I love this book so much. Just so many great articles, so many funny stories, and just interesting stuff that he had to deal with throughout his storied life here. Great stuff. So yeah, I'm just gonna continue moving right on. We got Kingdom of Fear, which I love this book. I love it. Out of all his books, this is probably my favorite. Because you really kind of understand who he is through this book. It's like kind of his like explanation. It's like a self-biography, an explanation of where a lot of his like personality comes from early on, not taking any shit from a cop, like from like so young, and just kind of like all the troubles he went through. And this is a really good book. When the going gets weird, the weird turn pro. There is no such thing as paranoia. In the Belly of the Beast. And great novel. I've read this one quite a few times as well. Kingdom of Fear, Loathsome Secrets of a Star-Crossed Child in the Final Days of the American Century. I would highly recommend this one here. Great book. And one of his last before he died. So yeah, this is a great one. And moving right along, I don't want to make this video too long, shooting for 15-ish minutes. Better Than Sex, sort of the same sort of deal as on the campaign trail in 72, but with Clinton. And yeah, it's pretty interesting. All types of stories, articles, predictions. There's a lot of cool like pictures throughout this one, and like actual like things that like, you know, like cool things that he had actually written. This is his madness when he'd write people letters in the mail, and this is definitely a weaker book than some of his other work, but I still enjoy it. And it's more like I'm more familiar with a lot of the people he's talking about in this book than I was with a lot of these ones here in campaign 72. Hey Rube, Blood Sport, The Bush Doctrine, and the Downward Spiral of Dumbness. This one's really cool. It's like a column he did for ESPN. Some of it's kind of boring because I'm not a huge sports fan, and he talks a lot about sports and his predictions and stuff like that. And it probably would have been really good if you were a fan of sports and reading this when those games were going on. What stands it? There's a lot of funny, great stories to have in this book, though. To be honest, but what really stands out in this one is you read his first reaction to the September 11th, 2001 terrorist attacks on the Twin Towers, and it's really interesting. Where is it? I used to be able to know exactly where it was. I don't think I'm going to be able to. Oh, this is it right here. It was just after dawn in Woody Creek when the first bomb hit New York City this morning, and as usual, I was writing about sports. The battle at the World Trade Center lasted about 99 minutes and cost 20,000 lives in 2 hours. The final numbers, including those supposedly impregnable Pentagon and such, and I just wish I could. There's so many good parts throughout that article that I'd like to read, but I don't want to spend time doing that. So I highly recommend. Yeah, I think you can read a lot of these things online somewhere. I'm pretty sure. So definitely look up that one I was showing you there if you're interested on his take. I believe it's this: Fear and Loathing in America, Beginning of the End. And I think he was, right on with a lot of his feelings about what was going to occur after the fact. It's very interesting. Anyways, see, I always get drawn in when I start looking at this stuff. I'm like, maybe I should start reading. Here's a book I got from a friend of mine. This isn't actually a Hunter S. Thompson book. This is friends and people that would spend a lot of time with him at his Woody Creek, his home, and this is them just kind of like telling crazy stories about the man, things that they did together, and it was an interesting read. I enjoyed it, and if you're into Hunter S. Thompson, it's definitely worth reading. It's not, like I said, an actual Hunter S. Thompson written book that he did himself, but it's interesting to see an outside look at who he was, and yeah, I was pretty happy to just get that given to me. So the last book here is a beaster. Look at how big that is compared to like a normal book. I actually, this is a reprint, I guess, and I was trying to find this book for a long time, and what it is, it's kind of like a Fear and Loathing in a Las Vegas sort of idea, but it takes place in Hawaii during this like race, like this marathon race, and then they get into all types of things. I tried to read this. I got about halfway through, and I stopped reading it for some reason. There's where I am. That's my cool bookmark there for this book. But which is Hunter S. Thompson there. Kind of a strange dude living. Like I said, he's non-conformist to the last end. That's about how far I got through it. It's about 80 pages. This book really has some nice Stedman art. Like, good lord, is it nice. I was very happy with this. It didn't cost too much. I think it's went up since I got it. It's just really cool to look at. But I haven't read it all. I definitely want to get back to it at some point. I was kind of surprised at how big it was. I was thinking it was going to be, if it was going to be hardcover, it probably wouldn't have been any bigger than like like this. But boy, was I wrong. It was huge. It's kind of hard to fit on the shelf, but it's awesome. Cool artwork. And from what I read, it was pretty interesting and funny and typical Hunter exaggeration sort of writing where you don't know what's real, what's not. It's like Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas in Hawaii. So it's very interesting. I definitely need to finish that though. That's one thing I'll have to put that on my list. Finish this fucking book, The Curse of Lono. I can't remember exactly which ones I'm missing. So the hell that I'll definitely have to do a little bit of looking into that because I can't remember off the top of my head. But yeah, this is my Hunter S. Thompson collection, and like I said, if you're a casual fan of his, I would highly recommend getting into actually reading all of his work because it's fantastic. and it kind of shaped. I read these a long time ago. I've reread them and reread them, and it kind of shaped not so much who I am or anything like that, but just kind of like the way I look at things, and I don't just kind of like take what I'm told at face value. I always want to like kind of look into things more, and that's what I learned from this dude. On top of that, to kind of live your life the way you want to, because you only got one, sort of deal. So yeah, very awesome books, and I'm very happy with this collection. This took me a long time to amass, and like I definitely want to get the third volume of the letters. That's probably next to my list to get that one locked down somehow or another. But yeah, hope you enjoyed this video. Yeah, and if you liked it, subscribe and like if you like, and yeah, as old Hunter himself would say, mahalo.